HarperCollins presents How to Defeat the Far Right, Lessons from Hope Not Hate, by Nick Lowles, read by Finlay Robertson. Please note, this book contains descriptions of racial abuse and hate speech. Listener discretion is advised.
2 branches, 1 tree, and a dog. Prologue. Police! Police! Lee can't remember if it was that shout or the heavy feet stomping up the stairs that first alerted him to the intruders in the house. It was shortly after 6 a.m., and he had been in a deep sleep. In what had become normal practice in COVID Britain, Lee had been up late on his computer. As his shocked parents looked on, horrified and bemused, he was ordered to get out of bed and throw some clothes on. Lee's instinctive reaction was to reach for his phone, but he was ordered, in no uncertain terms, to put it down. 6 burly officers in plainclothes and police-issue body armour manhandled him in handcuffs and made him wait while they searched his room before taking him downstairs into a waiting minivan. Lee's mind was racing. He knew why the police were there, but he couldn't quite understand how bad it was for him. I was fucking shitting it, he remembers, now deeply embarrassed. I knew I was in deep shit. He knew what he had been doing was wrong, but in that moment, as the car snaked slowly through London's rush-hour traffic, he could not remember what specifically he had said and done to find himself in this position. He only knew he had been mixing in things that he shouldn't. To make matters worse, it was his birthday. What a way to mark the occasion, he thought. Lee was 16 years old, and he had just been arrested for allegedly disseminating terrorist material. He would be held for 11 hours, with officers taking it in turns to shout at him, before being released that evening into the custody of his waiting father. A few weeks before that fateful morning, Lee had reached out on Instagram to a man who claimed to lead a group called the British Hand. It was a Nazi, lowercase n, group that wanted to go beyond talking. Footnote: in this book, Nazi with an uppercase N is a reference to Adolf Hitler's National Socialist German Workers' Party, while Nazi with a lowercase n refers to post-war and current adherence to some or all of National Socialist ideology. After swapping a handful of messages, Lee was told he would have to go through a vetting process, which turned out to be a few simple questions, like his name and why he wanted to join. From there, Lee was asked to download Telegram, a social messaging app widely used by far-right extremists, and join their group there. He had never heard of Telegram before, but excitedly did so. Being in a secret group on an unknown app only increased the excitement for Lee. He was doing something special. Lee had no idea that the person he was swapping messages with was also just 15. He seemed a lot older, remembers Lee. I think during one chat he said he was 17 or something, but for me, at my age, that still seemed really old. Within days, Lee was hooked. He would check the private Telegram group several times a day, reading messages that others had posted, occasionally posting himself. There were no more than 20 of them on the group, if that, but this just made it more attractive for the young Lee. Very quickly, the complaints about immigration, Muslims, the left, and political correctness turned to discussions about violence and terrorism. I am planning an attack against the Dover coast, where every Muslim and refugee has been given safety. If you're interested, tell me now, the group's leader told the members. Another person on the group was 18-year-old Matthew Kronjaeger from Essex. He posted that he wanted to shoot a former friend who had been boasting about
Sample complete. Ready to continue?